Hello, hello, folks.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah, it's a wild olive.
There's one.
I've got olives on my pizza.
Happy Thursday, everyone. I hope your week is shaping up to be okay so far. Thank you so much for watching, joining, being here. Lissa with the kitty cat ears. What's going on at Casa de Lissa?
Casa de Lissa has a mouse in the house and cats that are inept. They play with it like it's a toy.
We have a lot of, it's all right. Every once in a while, as you said, animals don't know how to animal. And yeah. It's usually like I've had a couple of freeloading chickens in my life where, I bought you for one reason. Nope, had to go down to the store today and buy some freaking eggs. Thanks.
Damn it.
Oh. Wow, yeah, I have to feed you again today. For what purpose?
My cats, they have found the mouse on multiple occasions. I've caught them playing with it twice.
Yeah, but now they're treating it like a pet.
It got into the birdseed in the laundry room, which is where I'm relatively certain it got in. Because under the water heater, kind of like the water heater's offset, there looks like there's a hole where a previous water heater had maybe had its line come in and out.
Yeah.
So pretty sure that's where the mouse got in.
It's entirely possible.
I am not a happy camper. This is war, Crysstal. This is war. The worst part is, so I did get sticky traps just because they're the most effective without using poison.
Unpleasant, but most effective, yes.
But what a lot of people don't know is you can still do it humanely as long as you have vegetable oil on hand.
Yeah, oil will dissolve most of what the sticky traps use.
So, yeah. I still use the sticky traps just because it actually catches them and doesn't kill them. And then I use the oil to get them off, way back in the woods.
Yes. And somehow they find their way back.
Yeah, but the issue is, the guy that we had cutting our grass, basically his life has gotten too busy at this point to cut the grass on a regular basis. So the grass is, way tall right now, and yeah. We're trying to find someone new. But I think that contributed to the mouse getting in the house. Once that gets fixed, we're treating the outside of the house for mice again.
Hey, Jim.
Hi, Jim. Hi, Craig.
Hey, Craig. Where's everyone? Yeah, say hey if you're there.
Yeah. Olive, if you could, I would be totally down for borrowing your kitty cat for a week. Just to get this mouse.
Let's see. Ooh, I see pictures of Starros, and I'm just absolutely all here for it. Anyway, yes. So aside from the cat, the cat's not catting their way to your heart, how has the rest of your week been, Lissa?
Come on. It's been pretty good. Just doing the Twitch thing, doing the D&D thing. In one of the D&D live streams this week, I accidentally basically set off a nuke.
Oh, okay. Accidentally.
It was actually accidentally because we knew these obelisks were defensive magic because in the world there had been a war from Celestials and Tieflings because not Tieflings, Infernals, because the Infernals had invaded. Okay. So I was like, okay, if this is a remnant from that, this could potentially help us with the undead in the area right now, right? It was definitely defensive magic.
Yeah.
Just the literal nuclear option.
I mean, yeah. So,
oops.
So
basically, I am ADHD enough that I will sit down if this kind of puzzle is sat in front of me and go, yes, let's figure this out. Even after my character was mildly injured by the obelisk. But it was because she's a tiefling, so she has infernal heritage, so she kind of assumed that would be the case once she figured out, hey, this is celestial. And there was a war between infernals and celestials here.
Over nerd. Just so we're clear. Over nerd.
I know. I am well aware. Do you know how many TTRPG live streams I'm on now?
No.
4.
Do you? Okay. I was going to say, do you?
4.
4.
One of them starts up, let's see, it should be not next week, but the week after. So the 10th. No, if that's a Monday. Okay, wait, maybe he gets back the 10th. Okay, never mind. We're not going to talk about that one right now because I'm not positive about the date. But the Rupture one should be starting up on the 4th.
Okay. Yeah, and well, don't worry, everybody watching. We'll post what we can at the end of the show, and we'll recap and all that stuff. Okay, let's get started. The
Dungeons and Dragons Olive.
Yes. Let's see. First, in a little bit of movie news, the number one movie I'm anticipating right now it's going to be Suicide Squad.
Yes.
I cannot wait for this. As a part of the marketing campaign, be sure to look out for the giant Starro now on display in London in Leicester Square.
What?
Yep.
I need pictures.
It's up now. I think so far I've seen the ones. This thing is huge. And
Google foo.
So huge Starro statue in Leicester Square used as the marketing campaign for today. Of course, for those of us that are super into DC, it's hard to not geek out over this because Starro is such an amazing throwback to such just ecstatic.
You said London?
Yeah, London in Leicester Square.
Oh my God.
Leicester Square.
Okay.
So at the time where we're seeing Jungle Cruise absolutely everywhere from Disney, what we're getting from DC is Starro. So there you go. There he is. Isn't he pretty?
That's awesome.
Isn't he pretty? I just think that's
so
the best thing ever. Yes. I want a little handheld. I want a little palm Starro that I can just pet and call my own.
Yes. I approve.
Yeah. Yay. So there you go. I don't know who else is excited for Suicide Squad. I
wonder, am I excited for Suicide Squad?
Yeah, just a bit. Just a bit.
I mean, that's been on my chair for a while, but still. Like, it's kind of an obvious there's nothing left to the imagination. Yes, I will be watching Suicide Squad.
As we anticipate the next from the MCU. So there we go. And then as I was letting Alyssa know, I just read an article talking about how, and if y'all remember, 1995, at the time, I think it was the most expensive, or at least one of the top 3 most expensive movies made, and it completely bombed. It was Kevin Costner's follow-up to Dances with Wolves, and it was Waterworld. So almost... What would this be? All these years later, what would that put that at? 30 something years later, 30, I have to count, can't do math right now. There is the possibility of a Waterworld TV show. Now in the works. And I don't know. Is it the next Walking Dead? Is it the next post-apocalyptic, or is it the next bomb? Who knows?
We're about to find out. So just a reminder, guys, Waterworld was initially planned as a $100 million Mad Max on water adventure. By the end, the then record cost for this was $175 million because they kept getting hit by motherfucking hurricanes. And when your freaking set is literally on the water... That's not a good thing.
Yeah.
Go ahead. That's another thing that contributed to a lot of Waterworld's reputation.
Yeah. And kind of, it's been a little dicey, Now, it's one of those situations where everyone, I usually attribute it to clickbait when people say this, because I like to think most human beings are pretty logical. Kevin Costner hit his peak with, the early 90s Dances with Wolves, and that's absolutely fine. He's been working ever since. It may not be that level, but I certainly wouldn't call him unsuccessful or a failure or anything like that.
By any means.
He reached the top of the top of the top at one point. So, okay, he maybe not the scripts that we would have seen him in after that, right out, whatever, cool. No problem. No problem.
Nothing wrong with that.
No.
I mean, he's still every now and then just in something that I'm like, oh, hey.
Sometimes he makes a great dad. I wish,
Yeah.
Man of Steel thing. No, but whatever. Whatever.
Yeah, he's apparently been in a television series recently called Yellowstone.
Yes. As we said, this guy has been consistently working ever since. He'll never escape Waterworld. George Clooney will never escape Batman and Robin. It happens. Yep. It's okay.
And he's Superman's dad. So
yeah, it's just that's the movie. But he was Jonathan Kent. So there you go. Clearly still has that. Let's see what we got here. No, and for me, the 90s were kind of this jumble of, so I get it. And as Liz and I were saying, there's a lot of movies that were maybe commercial failures and became cult classics and are greatly appreciated today. There's a lot of movies in the 90s that never, ever should have been made. Although for completely different reasons that bad movies are coming out today. I find that really interesting.
Yeah.
The 90s was such a hodgepodge of, okay, you guys are killing me.
Yep.
Try this again. The 90s were such a cluster, but some of my favorite movies came out at that time. And again, everything had to do with cost. And this was the beginning of the concept of spending $150 million, hoping that it was going to become a $300, $400, or $500 million movie.
Yeah.
Again, I don't.
Exactly.
Yeah. So there you go. Whoop.
Don't mind me when I turn off my camera. I'm just trying to snack on my pizza.
She's trying not to be open. What do we call? Open mouth. Well, not a mouth breather, but yeah. Whoops. I'm now sideways. Dogs.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Oh. But, yeah, I'm actually kind of looking forward to a potential Waterworld series.
Concept was not the problem. Concept not the problem. Let's see what we've got. God, do we even get to have it? I was looking at this. Somebody released it's the best of 2020, the best movies of 2020. I'm like, did we have movies in 2020?
Kind of, but I would argue that trying to say the best movie in 2020 is trying to compare apples and oranges for any other year, because we've never had a year as weird as 2020 in regards to movies.
No. What was going to get postponed? What was obviously just a complete cluster of everything. And what did we end up seeing at home instead of in theaters?
Mm-hmm.
2020 as a standalone. Well, there's a question for you. How many of you today are planning to see? So we have several movies coming out in the fall. Fingers crossed, movie theaters, will be safe enough for people to go see them in the theaters. How many of you are planning to do that? And this is along the lines of the same people that, with everything happening right now, are we still planning to go to conventions? Are we still, what's going to happen? So I don't know. I would like to go see Suicide Squad in theaters. I would like to see the next MCU movie in theaters. Because I would.
I would as well. It's complicated right now.
Yes.
To say that it's the best thing in the world. If a theater was not continuing with COVID procedures where, you know, everyone's like 6 feet apart and everything like that, I wouldn't go. Hi, Esri. Hello, little shit who chased a mouse in here.
And then did nothing about it.
Yep.
Should we show the news about Scarlett Johansson suing Disney?
I just pulled that story up. That was my next one. Thank you. Okay.
What story?
So Scarlett Johansson.
Oh, yeah, I saw that right before.
First we had the theater issue. We had the theater lawsuits over Black Widow. We had the theater lawsuit with Disney. So now we have Scarlett Johansson's. So what I have is the official response to Scarlett Johansson's lawsuit from Disney. This is their, so let's see. Oh, first what the lawsuit's about. So here we go. After a long period of delays due to COVID-19, Black Widow was finally released in theaters. Eventually led to some releasing in theaters and online the same day. Earlier today, reports surfaced stating that Scarlett Johansson herself had filed a lawsuit against Disney because she believes that Black Widow releasing on Disney Plus was a breach of her contract.
It can be. Because
Can be.
her contract specifies that it's based on box office views.
Right. Right.
Now, don't get me wrong, the Disney Plus release should be considered part of that box office, even though it's not a traditional box office.
Yep.
But she had her lawyer try to renegotiate the contract because of the Disney Plus release stuff, and they refused.
Yes.
So she has every right now to sue them for this. And people are like, Scarlett, people were dying. Like, this isn't about that. This is about the fact that even before COVID even happened, she was worried about this.
Yes.
And she asked them about this. And they didn't try to renegotiate a contract with her to try and fix this issue.
And many studios are becoming notorious for taking advantage of and certain things about what new media is, and SAG standards and things have changed over the past several years, some for the good, some either way. In this case, it was a rapidly changing. I mean, how many years ago did she start playing Black Widow? Over 10, 12 years ago. So a lot has changed since then. And Disney's, Disney Plus Premier Access, it's whether they had the plans back then or not, it was definitely something not taken into account as they were negotiating how royalties would play out. So
yeah, so Iron Man 2 was her debut as Black Widow.
Yep.
And that was 2010. So she's been playing Black Widow since 2009.
There you go.
So 12 years, on screen, 11 years.
Mm-hmm.
In total.
How long since she's been cast, since the first contracts were really, signed and everything was finalized? Yep, absolutely. 2009, probably 2008, if we go all the way back to beginning negotiations. Who knows? And when you have this, I mean, of course.
Would you eat a table for $10? I'm sorry, I cannot read your name. $10 is not enough to eat a table.
I don't know what. Hey, Donnie. Yeah, and
what is happening in the comments? Why is my hovercraft is full of what? Olive, are you okay over there?
Do we need to send help? Let us know. Do we need to send help? We'll send you a pizza. No, we won't. We're all broke, but we'll try. Yeah, and bear in mind when you sign with Disney, there's obviously Disney is going to do a lot of studios. It's a good amount of money up front, and they want everything on the back end through merchandise and everything else. Well, when you're getting into an actor and everyone seems to have an equal, like, you're trying to get the MCU off, so you're bringing in legitimate, well-known actors to play roles because you want the franchise to go as far as possible. So you're bringing in somebody like Scarlett Johansson, she has to sign away how much you can I'm sure there's deals in there. You can use my face. You sign everything away. And that's what they did during the Black Widow movie. It's just her face everywhere. It's her likeness everywhere. She's instantly recognizable as Black Widow. She's a huge part of the marketing now. And here they are just refusing to come to the table with her.
Yeah,
So,
this is all on Disney right now. Like Disney
yeah.
is notorious for this kind of shit too. So it's not I don't blame her at all. I do not, because Disney is going to make so much more off of this than she ever will.
Yeah. Yeah.
And especially in a standalone movie for her character. Yeah. She is the draw. That's why you're going to see it.
She's given you 10 years of her life, 12 years of her life.
Yep.
To build a character into something so recognizable that it's a huge part of the marketing. And that's a huge part of how casting and why we saw some casting at upsets immediately, because there were a lot of people behind the scenes and in front of them, Robert Downey Jr., who understood how far this, all of the MCU could go. You're looking at something, a huge legacy. So
yes.
This has to be taken into account, not only what you're paying, but actors are giving their life for this.
Yeah.
And it's not always a cushy, easy job. It is a lot of money, but on the back end, it's actors making a lot of money for other people.
Yep.
So,
and putting their life and limb on the line on occasion, depending on what they're doing.
I mean, a decade of being somebody's beck and call girl is no light feat. So
yeah, like how much have these actors had to travel around and adjust their lives?
And you have to follow very, very, very strict rules.
Yep.
Very, very strict rules. No,
especially
I don't
in regards to like diet and things like that. In order to because like even the males, this isn't just
it's
like Scarlett Johansson in the cat suit.
She's the only one asked about it.
Yeah, she's the only one that was ever asked about it, and thank goodness for her male counterparts being like, why aren't you asking me that?
You didn't ask me how I balance my life with my kids, and why aren't you asking me that?
Yeah, but like your schedule, your diet, your exercise, everything is controlled by Disney during that time. Everything. Well,
and your behavior, what you can or can't say, what you can't. Ugh, this is absolutely hilarious. Yeah.
Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah.
I love how like wholesome, ridiculous he is. He does, like, he's one of those stars that doesn't realize he's a star somehow. Just like whenever he sees other people in the MCU, just you see his face light up like, hey, it's you. It's great. I love it.
I love
it's perfect.
Wholesome nerds. He's a wholesome nerd, like all of us. Just got tagged in this one off of, but I'm going to read a different article. But so on comicbook.com, you have Killian from comicbook.com did an interview with James Gunn as well, because again, Suicide Squad. But he did it dressed as, wait for it, Condiment King from Batman. No, and what happened the last time you did that? You got one of the sequins stuck in your teeth, and I had to pull it out. Get over here. You're banned. You're banned. Thank you. No. Thank you. Yes, dressed as the Condiment King. Now, he did this to personally confront James Gunn about the fact that he's the only Z-lister left out of Suicide Squad. Poor Condiment King could not catch a break. Now, for those of you who don't know, Batman the Animated Series all those years ago, God, 30 years ago, had an episode where the Joker turned what we would consider like parodies of recognizable stand-up comedians into, mind controlled them into becoming ridiculous villains. And one of them that stood out was the Condiment King, who literally is a man who uses ketchup and mustard and hot sauce to rob people.
The hot sauce I could see.
Yes, it was actually rather effective when somebody tried to be a hero. Yes.
It's basically Mace.
Yeah, they squirted it right down the back of his throat. So
Oh.
yeah, see, unpleasant. So Condiment King was all the reasons why it should have been him instead of Polka Dot Man. But there you go.
That's funny. I mean, why can't we just add one more?
It's that's pretty much what it was. So I got even props for that. Speaking of props, now that it is a shared on every site post, let's be sure to do a shout out to a mutual friend of both mine and Lissa's, Brianna.
Yes.
Our friend Brianna, and I keep wanting to say her. So she's married now. She changed.
Darnell.
Thank you, Darnell. Brianna Darnell, who is this sweet, sweet heart of a hardworking girl that just left Georgia. But while she was here and for several years, she was a stand-in, instantly recognizable. Many people know her. She was a stand-in on like, you name a character that kind of looked like her, and it was her. Everyone knew Brianna. So she was a stand-in during Loki. And there's a scene she had with Tom Hiddleston. And he was Tom Hiddleston. Basically, she had a rough moment, which happens, and she relayed this story just on her normal Facebook page. I just encourage you to go get a chance. And basically, you can search for, cast member or crew member from Loki, relays a story about Tom Hiddleston.
Yep.
She's funny right now. She's joking. She's like, I spent years trying to go viral, and the second I move away and quit being involved with TV shows, I get
that's when I go viral
everywhere. And it's really adorable. She basically relayed a story about how Tom Hiddleston helped her kind of take a deep breath and get through the moment. And he was kind of the guy we all know that he absolutely is.
Yep.
And helped her through it, and everything turned out great. But it's a really sweet story, and everyone is here for it because we love him.
Yes.
And so we wanted to do a shout out that it's an excellent tribute also to just the hours and hard work and dedication and everything that goes in from absolutely everybody on the set, and how things are just better when people work together.
Exactly.
No matter what. Because sometimes you're invisible to people. And bye, Jim. I'd relish seeing the Condiment King on the main screen. God.
She was having one of those moments of a flare up, because sets are very sensory overload sometimes,
and hard to regulate your sleep patterns, hard to regulate how you eat, hard to regulate everything else, and it can be a recipe for. And we're only sharing this bit of information because it is something.
It is actually in the story,
in the article. It's part of what she posted. We're
exactly. Had that not been in there, I would not say.
We would not talk about it.
Thing.
It's part of what happened, and it's a lot easier to get through stuff like that when you have people that recognize that.
And she realized that. Because she had actually forgotten cues and everything, when he did that was actually part of the scene too.
Yes.
But
even
if it wasn't totally on purpose, the fact that, he was able to ground her in that moment, like, it's Tom Hiddleston. I totally believe he recognized that something was going on.
Well, and also the response from the people on the set, like we get this feeling that on the set you're have people that want to find a solution, not complain about something that isn't going perfectly, and that makes things a lot easier. Even if it wasn't something having to do with her health, maybe it was just a bad moment. The idea that people come together and they're like, hey, what can we, or like, let's take a deep breath, or let's do this. I'm not going to nobody's throwing anybody under the bus. Nobody's going to get mad. Nobody's going to be a diva.
Exactly.
What can we do right now? And that is something I believe was fostered on a set like this. And I believe that when we hear Tom Hiddleston say he'd be happy playing Loki for the rest of his life, people don't say that if they're not happy with the people they're working with too.
Exactly.
So I get the impression this is also a set that has fostered just warm, fuzzy feelings.
Exactly.
But we wanted to give her a shout out for having the opportunity to kind of share a story like that and share the work that she does, because she is really one of the sweetest people ever.
She is. She truly is such a wonderful person.
So there you go. Wanted to get that. Jim, thank you for joining us. I know you got to go. I knew a dad joke was coming in there. Let's see. What was I going to close now?
Okay.
Yes.
I've got a. Now this is TikTok adjacent.
No problem.
So there is a user that I shall not name because she's doing a bunch of stupid shit. But basically, she alleged that Critical Role, their opal was knocking off her opal that she plays in a live stream.
I remember this. Yep.
Now, first off, the concept in and of itself is a very simple concept. If you wanted to go with that, then Steven Universe could come after her for her opal. But even beyond this, this has spurred an entire conversation in the D&D community about a person of playing a person of color when you're not a person of color in D&D. And now this specifically applies to humans, because obviously there's other races, like species race-wise, that there's. Now it's problematic with how they have done it, and they're shifting from this. But like the Drow, for example, so the Dark Elves, like no one's going to complain about you playing a Drow because that is the species. But a human person of color, well, you're white. A lot of POC D&D TikTokers have stated, hey, this makes me uncomfortable. It's very problematic because of the history of blackface. Please don't do this.
Yeah.
And it's started this entire whirlwind of people like, POCs stepping up and saying, hey, this is why, and this is how we can do better. People who are not POCs coming in and saying, like trying to boost their voices and support them. And there's also the people who are not listening and in their ignorance coming off as racist.
Yes. You're fighting it back instead of listening.
Yeah. Instead of listening, they're using ignorance. And then there's just the people who are just outright blatantly racist and they don't give a shit.
Right.
But moral of the story is, if someone has told you and what you're doing is problematic, you should fucking stop.
Kind of like, why do you need to? Yeah.
It would be no different than, like, say I was playing at a table and I had some trauma occur, and I turn to the other player and say, hey, this is triggering me. Would you please stop? Yeah. If they didn't stop, they're being a piece of shit.
There's nothing in anything like this worth making it hard on somebody else.
Exactly. Don't be an ass. Do not be a dick. That's all people want. We are there to play games. We are there to have fun. If you are not listening to the players that you are playing with, you're an asshole and don't deserve to be at that table. End of story.
Yep. Agreed. I think we can. I've seen a never be a complete and utter butthead. That is true. Thank you, Donnie. A couple of people have brought this up. Yes, we lost Dusty Hill. I did read that one yesterday. ZZ Top.
Yes.
I can remember, I think my introduction to ZZ Top, which I don't think I've ever not been familiar with. They've been around that long, but there was, I think it was Mother Goose's Rock and Roll Nursery, something, I can't remember. I think it had Shelley Duvall on it. It was on Disney, and I think it was Disney, and ZZ Top did an appearance. Is this ringing a bell for anybody? Like I would have
Not
been
for me.
really little. Yeah, I think you would have definitely been too little. I was really little. And yeah, it was this.
If I was even born, depending on what year it was.
Yeah, I have to look this up. So ZZ Top.
But we lost a couple of rock stars this past week too. Not only did we lose Dusty, we also lost Joey Jordison from Slipknot.
Wow. Yeah.
One of the founding members and the drummer. He also played with people like Rob Zombie in White Zombie and all kinds of people. Like he did a lot of work. And he was 46.
I was gonna say, how young is he? He can't be that much older than me.
No, yeah, he was 46. He died peacefully in his sleep, but he'd been suffering from health issues for several years at this point.
Okay.
It's likely that his MS, he had like a variation on MS, and that probably contributed to his death.
Okay. Yeah. It was called, so 1990, it was released. It's called Mother Goose Rock and Rhyme.
Okay.
And it had like Cyndi Lauper, ZZ Top, all these people in it. Yeah. So Shelley Duvall, of course, piggybacking off of Fairy Tale Theater, which is really dating me right there. Yeah, that was my introduction to ZZ Top. I would have been, what would that have made me? 6 or 7?
Yeah, something
There.
like that. Okay, excuse me. It was traverse myelitis,
Okay.
a neurological condition which the spinal cord is inflamed. So, that probably contributed to his death.
Let's see what we got in the question. The show aired on the Disney Channel. I do believe the Rock and Rhyme was on, Disney. So Disney was on all the time.
Yeah.
This is back during those days of that Mickey Mouse Club. That Mickey Mouse Club. All right.
That Mickey Mouse Club.
So we've got, let's see, with HBO Max, we've got 8 TV shows coming from Disney, just on HBO Max.
Okay.
It's including Green Lantern, Superhero High. Now I want to see. Hold on one second. So Superhero High is Elizabeth Banks is the executive producer of that one.
Oh, I think I've heard about this one in passing.
Yeah. So but it's DC Superhero High.
Yeah.
So it's the boarding school for the gifted children. So there you go. It is a comedy. Looks to be family friendly. I'm interested. It said 2021, but we'll see. J.J. Abrams doing Justice League Dark. Strange Adventures. Let's see. There's a Batman spin-off series. It's supposed to be the prequel to the movie that's coming out with Pattinson.
Okay.
So we'll see how that one works. Still going to have Jeffrey Wright, I believe, as Gordon, but we'll see. And then Peacemaker, John Cena's Peacemaker, of course, will be there. We're getting the Constantine show.
Oh, thank God.
We've seen Constantine in the animated movies, and we've seen Constantine as Keanu Reeves. So here we go.
Well, we've also seen Constantine on CW.
Constantine was doing the Flashpoint crossover thing.
No, he had his own show.
He had his own show. Yeah.
In fact, that was a couple episodes were filmed at my college, and I was pissed because I couldn't do things I had to do on campus because of it.
Oh no.
And actually, one of my friends in that was Negan, the demon.
Yep.
I think was the name of the demon. But Yeah, no, that I hope that they keep the casting, like if they're gonna do that again, because he was spot on. I can't think of the freaking
The actor,
actor's name.
yeah, because he did he was also
Let me look him up. Matt Ryan. He's also actually voiced
Captain
Constantine in some of the animated stuff. So Justice League Dark, Apocalypse War. He played Constantine in that too. So they've kept him around for other projects. He was cast perfectly as Constantine. Just keep the casting. Like even if you don't. Hi, Kara. Hello. Would you like in my lap?
Yes.
Come on,
Yes.
child. Here we go. Here you go.
So yes, you're right. Completely forgot because I felt the Constantine show. I didn't watch it. I always plan to watch things like maybe 2 or 3 seasons. I don't know why. I just do. I did the same thing with Lucifer, and by the time it was off the air. By that point, I was like,
Yeah,
okay,
it only got like 1 or 2 seasons.
yeah. But then they brought him back for the crossover when they were doing the Flashpoint or Flash, all that stuff.
Yeah.
For CW. He was the one who took him to Earth 666, which is interesting that they wanted to make it a different Earth that had Lucifer. But I'm like, the same Earth. But that's okay.
I think it's because of the fact that by that point Netflix owned Lucifer.
Certainly on the next few seasons. Still DC and still
still DC, but like they own the rights for So like it's the same actor because like he's been established in that universe.
Yeah, now sees Constantine or Lucifer.
Yeah. So Constantine only got 1 season and there are 13 episodes. Yeah. And it's part of the like Arrowverse, Flashpoint, all that.
I can remember having a conversation. I worked with a girl who was about 10 years older than me, and she's like, yeah, not really into comic book movies. I'm not really into this. And then one day she's like, oh yeah, Keanu Reeves, I loved him in Constantine. That was so good. Constantine's on. I'm like, you get that that's a comic book movie, right? She's like, what? Yeah. Constantine's a DC. It's a DC movie.
Yep.
Just saying. But
okay, bye.
Okay, bye. Congratulations. Like those. Here's a running joke. I was talking to Alec about the other day that J.K. Simmons still does his Spider-Man version of JJ.
Yes.
Consistently in animated form. He is always the newspaper shouting
in everything. Like literally he's JJ. He's been JJ in every live action version of Spider-Man.
Or you think every live version? Yes, they keep crossing him over. And then he's in all the Simpsons versions of that screaming editor guy.
Yep.
It's J.K. Simmons who always voices it, and he does it exactly like the most exaggerated version of JJ. And but now it looks like he's so he has Commissioner Gordon that he did for the previous movies, and now he's going to be so Commissioner Gordon for the Batgirl movie coming up. I'm gonna cross that over, and I'm like, this is kind of the ultimate geekery right here. Like, we want to kind of hand it to Ryan Reynolds for doing everything that he did, but at the same time, like, I don't know, J.K. Simmons is probably going to be the easiest to see coexisting across multiple fandoms. You're this person on The Simpsons, so you're covering that base. You're this person for the Marvel, and they want to keep bringing you back. Like, regardless of it's not being Raimi universe anymore, they want to keep bringing J.K. Simmons back as a JJ, and then you have him as an established Commissioner Gordon now. Yeah.
Well, he was also Cave Johnson in fucking Portal.
Yes. Yeah. So like, we're all the genre, all of them. He's all of it. All of it.
Just like, it's great. Like the first time I played through Portal 2 and heard Cave Johnson, I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I know who you are.
Yes. Do you mean James Marsters of Angel fame, and then the mutant Runaways? He was
James Marsters is a little bit too old at this point, I think.
we're all too old. It's okay.
Like, I
Um,
don't get me wrong, I love James Marsters to death, but at this point, like,
Yeah.
he's a little bit older because he's 58 now.
Yeah.
Just as a reminder to
He was a
everyone,
little-
he's
yeah,
58.
he was one of the older staple actors during Buffy. Like, let's just be clear. So yeah,
Yeah.
James has been around for a while. Let's see.
And as a reminder for everyone to scream at, he was also Piccolo in Dragon Ball Evolution. That shit show of a movie.
Oh god, it was so bad.
It was so bad.
It was so bad. Let's see.
It didn't even sound like him. They had modulated his voice so much.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I don't often question and voice casting. I really don't. But I think I've also been spoiled with a lot. But Dragon Ball was just,
We don't talk about Dragon Ball
We don't talk
Evolution.
about that one.
That's one of those ones like the last Airbender movie. We ignore that exists.
Speaking of ignoring what exists, next year marks the 30th, and yes, Donnie, the 30th anniversary of the original movie. Speaking of shit that we pretend doesn't exist. Now,
Donnie, don't remind me I'm turning 30 next year.
Now, that having been said, I remember watching it when it came out, and I remember not completely hating it. I remember watching it a couple of times when it comes out during Halloween or whatever, and enjoying it for the stupid, spoopy movie that it is.
Oh, yeah.
But it's, God, you have to go into it knowing it's just awful.
Oh, yeah, it's not the best thing in the world, but
awful.
I look at it as a horror comedy, personally.
Oh, yeah. No, for sure.
Like...
And evidence that even Donald Sutherland will just do something for a payday.
Not wrong. I mean, look at Body Snatchers.
There was one movie that he did. It was his biggest regret. There was a movie where he literally, I think, had to work for 2 days. They wanted to put his name in there, and it was a good part for him. And he opted for the immediate payout instead of a percentage. And I think it literally cost him the difference between $30,000 and probably $12 million.
I'm looking through his stuff right now.
I cannot.
It might have been. No, it's not. It can't be Hunger Games.
No. We're talking. No, would have been years before Hunger Games.
Okay.
But if I'm remembering, it was absolutely Donald Sutherland, and it was. It was a quick thing. He agreed to do it because it was only 2 days, but he wanted the money up front. You probably have more luck if you look up Donald Sutherland's biggest regret.
That's actually a good point.
Yes, no. Buffy has always supposed to have been seen as so much of a spoof, so much of a tongue-in-cheek of the genre. Obviously through excellent plot and character development. Well, more character development than plot, let's be honest.
Animal House.
Yes, that was it.
In 1978, Donald Sutherland made one stupid decision about Animal House that eventually cost him $72 million.
72 million. Sorry. It was being kind. Oh my god. Could you imagine?
They didn't think Jim Belushi had enough star power. He opted for the initial payout instead of, a small upfront and then after the fact. And Jesus Christ, was that a big mistake?
Yeah. I think it was something he 2 days of filming or something. It wasn't a big part. It wasn't reoccurring. It was something.
Had Belushi turned down the role of Bluto, it would have gone to Meatloaf.
Oh, Meatloaf. That's hilarious.
Rocky Horror.
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah. The other one, the forever, no matter. I don't. Yeah. It's Rocky Horror. It's Rocky
So
Horror.
Craig, just so you know, technically he kind of already has, because there are a bunch of Evil Dead video games that he voiced Ash in. Just so you know.
Yes.
I've maybe played some of them.
Maybe.
Little.
The one I always tell there's a great story. It was a great convention story. I was sitting, I think it was room 20 at San Diego Comic-Con. I don't think it was Hall H. It was the True Blood panel.
Mm-hmm.
And they were talking to Ball. Somebody had asked the question, like, I think we still had 2 seasons to go, and they were talking about Bubba, the character of Bubba from the books.
You told me this one before.
Yeah, it's just forever stuck in my head. And they're like, there isn't anybody we could possibly find who could play Bubba. It's just too hard to find someone convincing. And somebody in the back of the room shouted out, Bruce Campbell! And Alan Ball. Oh, shit. We're like, yeah. Do you read the internet? We cast this thing for you like years ago.
Not even just that. Like, literally, he has an entire fucking movie of him as elderly Elvis.
Yes. Like, it's
Bubba Hotep. And it's amazing. If any of you have not watched Bubba Hotep, fucking go watch it now, please. Yeah. It is amazing.
Yeah. Let's see.
I have the PS2 game somewhere in my collection. Okay, good. Yeah, no, the one that I remember is Fistful of Boomstick. That's the name of it. Yeah. It's like Evil Dead, Fistful of Boomstick was the name.
Oh, Spinning Wheel of Death. Never mind. Screw off. Don't care. Yes.
Yep. Initial release date was 2003.
Okay.
Oh, you're lucky, Craig. You are lucky. There weren't any theaters nearby that were playing it.
Yeah. That was
Since it was an indie.
It was only I never saw it in theaters. I learned about it long after. That was me, but because I became a Bruce Campbell fan in the 90s.
My dad found out about it before it even got released, and we were looking to try and find it in theaters.
Yeah, no.
We were like, damn it, there's only one theater in Atlanta that's playing it, and it's only on like one day, and we can't go to it because of this one day.
Yeah, trying to remember, there was an independent theater down the road from me. I was in New York City at the time, so there was an independent theater down the road from me, but they were generally only showing 1 or 2 movies. And this is where I went to go see March of the Penguins. So
that's fair.
Yeah. It was there. It was down there. That's what I did with it. Oh, good golly, Miss Molly. Hold on, what was I? Okay.
But yeah, wait, what day of 92 did Buffy come out? What was the release date?
God, was that 92?
Yes. July 31st. I am older than the Buffy movie.
Don't even start with me. I'm old enough to remember seeing the Buffy movie, so don't.
That's fair.
Do not start with me. No. No.
I'm 2 months older than the Buffy movie, guys. Almost 3, but no, a little over 2 months. Because it came out July 31st, 92.
There's a lot that came. What I think of, I don't know what it was. I can't tell if it's attributed to the fact that I was a certain age in the early 90s, or if there really were a ton of movies released in the 90s.
No, there just were a lot of really weird things released in the early mid 90s.
Yeah, like coming out of the 80s, before we were getting really deep, like it everything felt like it was coming out of the 80s too, but really trying to mark itself differently. I don't know how we came out of the 80s and found worse fashion. I don't know how we did that, but we did, for sure. In a lot of the 90s, there's a lot of things that are very questionable about the 90s.
At least we eventually backed off from enough hairspray to like hold, like glue something in place.
The 80s, I felt like was very much about trying to look like your parents, trying to look older, trying to do a fun spin on something that's like an adult outfit, grown up a little bit, but like hip. And then I don't know. It is, yeah.
Yeah, shoulder pads.
I just bought actually a dress with shoulder pads. If shoulder pads are done right, they are. You what?
I love shoulder pads.
I'm shocked.
Look.
I have a dress with shoulder. I have clothes with shoulder pads that are made now. They're not even from the 80s. They're made now. Yes. There was a commercial that came out a few years ago. I think a young woman, I'd say like, I think given when it aired, she probably would have been like early 30s. She was going to work. And she found something in the back of her closet and was one of those big, like 88, 89, 91 shoulder pad ensembles. And I think she was also borrowing like the old car, which was probably a Datsun 280ZX. And she drove into work and someone's like, "Hey, 80s." She's like, "Yes."
Yeah.
Yes, I am from that. Will you stop trying to eat my hair? Hi, you just ate. Good job. Good job. Good job. Good burp. Hi. Okay. You want to come say hi? Okay.
Oh,
it's a wild itty bitty. She just wants to give me Alpo kisses. I don't want Alpo kisses.
that happens.
Yes. Are you okay? You're okay. I know. It was too hot to take her outside and play with her today. So she's a little out of it. Okay. Hi. Best hugger in the world. There you go. Go see daddy. You're a good girl. Oh, I tried. No, you see? Okay. Back, I say. Oh, and there is a ball. But yes, in the 90s, there's a lot of movies I look back on, and I again, Clueless is still one of my favorite movies of absolute all time. I think it's, and at the time, think of how they marketed it compared to how they would market it today. If they did a story like that today, they want to make sure that people knew how smart it was. They would want people to know that it was different. Whereas marketing it back then was all about making it look fun, all about making it look quintessential, all about making it look like just what everybody could sit and eat some popcorn and have some fun with. And so there's a lot that it was expected that movies would be good. Now you got to make sure the audience knows the movie's good.
Yeah, sometimes to the point of spoiling things you shouldn't spoil.
Mall walking was fun back in the day. Yeah, roller skating rinks were also fun back in the day. Roller skates, that's what's making a comeback right now. Oh, let's see.
I still want another pair of freaking
Jack of all trades.
Inline skates.
Now's the time. I am selling my vintage, they're probably 70s Rydell skates that I found. They have like no wear and tear on them, and I'm hoping that they find a new home because they're too small for me. I got them in an antique store.
What size are they?
6.
Damn it.
Yeah. And
just a little too small.
Yeah, and skates run narrow. Everyone needs to remember that. Skates run really narrow for stupid reasons. They do. So there you go. That's the other one making the comeback. That's my other geeky thing was the malls and skating rinks and having to carry around change for the phone booth.
We still have a mall here, and I do occasionally go in.
Yeah, but the I go to the Georgia. What's the mall? North Georgia Mall.
Oh yeah,
I don't go very often.
Arbor Place out here in Douglasville.
I watch the TikToks that do the specials if you ever see on the dying malls and how to know when a mall is about to die, like the death throes and what stores are going in and what stores shut down. No, don't.
Oh yeah.
Go get it yourself.
No, like I am definitely aware of the fact that our mall is probably dying
on the last legs. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I mean, when Sears shut down,
yeah,
that was one of the big staple stores for malls.
Yes. The end of many eras. Screw you, Amazon. But they did say Blockbuster. Simpsons has predicted that Blockbuster will come back. So who knows?
Yeah. I don't know that one's coming back unless they make it a streaming service of some sort.
It'd be interesting to see how that would work. Well, and on that note, I do have to cut out. I do. But before I do, I want to absolutely predate the moon landing. You guys are so funny. Live long VHS. Yes, there's as I said, after the apocalypse, there will still be somebody who has a VHS and a beta player. Yes, you never know what you're going to need for entertainment then. So I don't blame any of you for holding on to it. Thank you for wishing me good luck. And thank you. Before we go, I want to thank absolutely everybody for coming in tonight and hanging out with us and catching up. Thank you for the little tidbits. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for joining us while we kind of talk about what we're thinking about today and what we've seen during the week. I hope the rest of your week is really going to be wonderful. You're going to have a fantastic, sweltering weekend for the Ranger. Lissa, want to fill everybody else?
Oh, that's right. It's 92 degrees outside.
Oh,
right now.
Yeah, no, it is. Yeah, no.
I don't know. I've been asleep all
down here in Georgia
because of the mousecapade.
It is. It's special. Couldn't take my dog out. As you can hear, I couldn't take her out to play with her. We'll have to go out later. But Lissa, tell everyone else what else you're doing for this weekend, what you got coming up.
So tomorrow I will be on twitch.tv/the Stormcrest for the Stormcrest Chronicles. I'm playing my tiefling rogue assassin, Semyaza, in that. On Saturday, I will be on my own channel playing some more Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
Sunday is boyfriend day, so game to be determined.
Cool. Important.
Monday, that's the campaign we're still trying to get that off the ground. We're waiting on one of our players to get back from Missouri because he had a family member pass away. So that one, when it happens, will be on Nerdworks Media on Twitch. Tuesday, I have Windermere Falls at 1 p.m. EST on Dead Bard Society's Twitch channel. Wednesday, starting next week, I will be on a Rupture game with the rest of the devs, and that will be on twitch.tv/druidlocks. And then, Thursdays are Two Geek Girls.
Two Geek Girls.
And later on, tonight, I'll probably play some more Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Also on Twitch, right?
Yes. Twitch, Geek Girl Lissa, if I can. There we go.
At Geek Girl Lissa, absolutely everywhere. Can't lose. Can't miss
anything with buttons, you can find me as Geek Girl Lissa.
There you go. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for tonight, Lissa. Thank you, everyone out there, for joining us. Thank you for everyone who's going to watch after. I do see you. I do see you watching after.
We know you're there.
We know you're there. And thank you again. Have a great rest of your week and live long and prosper.
Bye.